adversities of climate change have affected Pakistan in a big way in the form of disasters. The recurring floods in the past 3 years, cyclones, typhoons, glacier lakes, melts, and other disasters has affected Pakistan in a very, very big way. 9 out of 10 disasters in Pakistan are due to climate change. So it has been established that climate change has caused or brought in disasters. The frequency is big, especially during last 40 years. So when we talk about disasters, we also it is very easy to see that the women are affected due to disasters in a big way.
How are women maybe affected more than men? How does it impact on women's lives more than men's lives?
Women are more dependent financially. They are not well trained to face the disasters. They are responsible for the household, and they are the first responders while men are away working in the fields or anywhere for the livelihood. So the women actually their livelihood is in the agriculture sector, in the rural areas, from the agriculture sector or the livestock. So mainly they are confined to the homes or in the fields, but men are away. So women are of course the first responders, and they need to be trained, and we need to recognize their role, who are 50% of the population, and we need to build their capacity to face the disasters.
Right. And is that happening now, that capacity building, that working in the rural communities? How are you going about that? What level have you reached in trying to include as many women as possible in the process?
Yeah, the NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, have recognized this, and the gender and child cell, a gender and child cell has been established in the NDMA, and the provincial disasters gender and child cells have been established in provincial NDMAs, provincial disaster management authorities, to outreach the masses all over Pakistan. So we have 5 gender and child cells established all over Pakistan in 4 provinces and Gilgit-Baltistan. Those gender and child cell are providing awareness, advocacy, capacity building, and trying to outreach districts through provinces, across the board, through education, through health, through social welfare. And the gender cells are not only confined to the women, they do take care of the issues of the old people, vulnerables, all vulnerables, that includes old people, disabled, transsexuals, minorities, and children.
And do you find when you go into these communities, do you find that women particularly are responding? Are they listening to the message that you bring them? And presumably it's a two-way process, that you're going into the communities, listening to them, and also helping them with capacity building, consciousness raising progress. Do you find there is a healthy response?
Of course, it's a bottom-up approach. Everything is done through a consultative process and bringing in all the stakeholders into the process. So the women and other stakeholders are in the process. The process is for policy formulation, for the social protection policy, for the gender and child and all the vulnerable groups, and also to build their capacities at the local level. And for this, NDMA would not directly outreach the districts or the local levels, but we actually build the capacity of the provinces and the districts so that they can take care of the issue themselves.